Hey, what's up? Kyle Russ here from Hydro Mind. Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you the secrets to surfing progression, how you can trade frustration for progress forever, get better every single session, and shorten the learning curve by years. So if you're having plateaus, this will end it forever. And 99% of surfers do not know this. It's very, very easy to miss. It's a combination of a formula, a strategy, and a little bit of surfing philosophy even. And it's exactly what I've used to build our programs, to progress as a surfer, and make sure that every single person that comes into contact with me in my programs gets these results reliably over and over. I'm going to show you exactly how it's done in this video, so let's do it. All right, so if you are frustrated, that means you're already gaining the info stream you need in order to turn that into progress. The frustration is just standing in your way. So the secret is every single session, good or bad, you're receiving three things. You're receiving a lesson, a report card, and some homework about you and how things went. The problem with this, most people just see it as frustration. So when regular people get into the ocean and they get beat up, things don't go their way, they get discouraged and they get frustrated. So that's what blocks it. But trained people who know what I'm about to show you know that when the ocean shows you your weaknesses, it's showing you the fastest path to your success. Your biggest weaknesses will be exposed immediately, and it's telling you the holes you need to plug in order to get to the next level. And that never ends. It happens every session to every surfer forever. Now, those lessons, if you're new, will come very, very general, like things like just complete exhaustion. And so as time goes on, it starts to become more specific. So I'm going to show you right now exactly what it's going to look like. All right, you can see in this chart that I've made here that it starts very, very big and it funnels down as you progress through it and becomes more narrow and more specific. At the top, like I said, the lessons will be very, very general, like, oh my God, I'm instantly exhausted, I can't breathe. So the lesson is you need to fix your cardio system. So paddle training, breath training, so that'll up that and the exhaustion will start coming down. So you won't be less general. Instead of things like fear, exhaustion, and panic, those things start to go away and the struggles start to become more acute, more specific. So things like, okay, my posture's not proper. When I'm paddling, I start putting my head down, my lower back starts to hurt, or my shoulders are the first thing that burn out. So that's telling you that's your report card. So the homework is, okay, I gotta fix my shoulders, I gotta make them stronger, I gotta work on my posture. Then it starts, once you get those figured out, your fitness things, like the general fitness stuff starts to become taken care of. You don't get tired, you don't have pain, you're moving around the surf a lot better. Then it starts to become skill-based. So let's say like big waves come through, you don't have a good duck dive, you get knocked off your board, losing your board. Okay, there's the lesson. You have to work on your duck dive. You're sitting in the wrong spot, you're missing the waves, you're sitting out too deep, or even your pop-up now starts to become a factor, where if you're popping up and you're falling, you need to work on your balance, your pop-up. So like I said, it's immediately telling you exactly what you need to do. And then after it goes from the skill stuff or the specific stuff into the skill stuff, and then it goes into the reward stuff. So the lessons will start to become what you're doing right. And that's when surfing becomes a completely different experience. What's amazing about this is something that people don't quite recognize is that this is free, instant, unbiased feedback that's personalized to you about exactly what you need to do to have success. And what I mean by unbiased is the ocean cannot lie. It tells you exactly what your number one weakness is first. Like your family and friends, they'll lie to you because they don't want to hurt your feelings, saying that you're doing better than you actually are. The ocean is incapable of doing that. So that tough love the ocean gives allows you to accelerate the progress by cutting things out, cutting out all the nonsense and giving it to you straight. That's an incredible thing. And like, think about it. If I were to come to wherever you're at, watch you surf, take notes, tell you what you're doing wrong, and give that to you, like it would cost you tons of money. Like I would never do that. So having it for free is something that you need to recognize because it really, really accelerates the progress. The coolest thing about this is it tells you exactly the lessons in the order that you need to learn them, because this stuff, you can never get to the skills if you're out of shape. You can never realize what body parts to fix if you have complete and total exhaustion. So another really interesting part about this is it will repeat the lessons that you struggle with most. And if you forget the lessons, it will drop you back to them. So if you reach here and you think you got it figured out and you don't need to worry about your fitness anymore and you let it, you neglect it, boom, you get dropped back, you get that lesson again. I've had many lessons repeated over time, and I bet you I will too. The biggest ones for me are things like patience, waiting for the set waves. And so that's something that I get that lesson over and over and over. So the fitness stuff, I don't get anymore. The skill stuff, I am here a lot more. And the reward stuff, I'm here a lot more, which is a great place to be because you think about it, those are completely different experiences as far as surfing goes. So one is you're like, when you're tired, you get like a tunnel vision, you get frustrated, you get scared, you're holding your breath, like are you actually gonna survive? And then when you reach this stage, you're focusing on the skills, you're progressing as a surfer, you're on the waves, you're in control. It's a completely different experience, and all you have to do is take the lessons and know what to do about them. Now, here's the most important part, and this is massively significant. Most people don't know or ever even consider it, but here's something super, super fascinating about water, that it actually kind of contains a memory and can hold information. It's like a computer chip, and it's so fascinating. Right here is a video. It's a TED Talk. It's called The Fourth Phase of Water. There's a bunch of other books and researchers who touch on this kind of stuff, but it's very, very fascinating how water can contain a memory, and the way it conducts information and contains the information of all the places it's touched. Now with surfing, if you think about what creates a wave, so waves happen from storms that happen on the other side of the planet, and they send swells over. Where do those storms happen? They happen from atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure happens from disturbances in space. So it's an energy in outer space that's sending energy into our planet, that's sending these waves to your shores that you catch. When you catch a great wave, it gives you an actual boost in energy. It elevates your mood, and all those different things. But here's what's really, really fascinating that I love, and the more that I really pay attention to this, the better it becomes. If you listen to anybody like artists, people who are inventors, anything to do with creativity, inspiration, all those people, when they speak about it, they talk about the muse, or like where that inspiration comes from. And they just describe themselves as antennas, where they're receiving these ideas and stuff from somewhere. And it's just like they're receiving it, they're not theirs, but they're getting it, downloading it, and acting on it. So in the ocean, when you have all these things that we talked about, you go through all the levels, general, specific, skill, and you have all those covered, your antenna is set for receiving. Because if you're exhausted, you got tunnel vision, you're like constantly struggling just to survive out there, it's like static. It's like you're not receiving, you can't think, you can't come up with ideas. But when you're out there and you're alert and you have all those things, you've taken care of your side of the equation, you bring your energy, the ocean brings its energy, those things combined, it is insane. It's hard to describe, but when I'm out in the ocean, I constantly get ideas. I think of things that I otherwise wouldn't have. So many things to do with hydromine, the philosophy, the stuff I teach comes to me when I'm in the ocean. And that never happened when I was exhausted, worried about my own survival, right? So if you do this, you can think about how different of an experience surfing becomes. So instead of being exhausted, being frustrated, being discouraged, not catching waves, when you transition to this model where you take the lessons, you understand the report card, you get the homework, you do the homework, you come back better, you get to the next lesson, you get a more refined, a more advanced lesson, and you move forward, all of a sudden these downloads start coming in. So instead, again, you're trading that frustration, you're in an absolutely new experience. Those are two totally different experiences. This is surfing, this is wanting to surf. So when you get to surfing, the ideas, the elevational uplift, the inspiration, all that, the mood lifting, everything that matters happens out there. And that's why it's a totally different experience, because you leave the ocean feeling more energized than when you went in there. Instead of feeling beat up and having your batteries drained to zero, your batteries get filled, your creativity gets filled, your inspiration, your spirit, your mood, your mind, your body, everything. So it's a completely different experience. And that's why it's so important to do it this way. So again, these lessons, the reason 99% of people don't do it is because there's two things you need. Number one, you have to be open, receptive to, and recognize the lessons as they come. Because if you're out there and you're missing waves and you're like, oh, it was just too crowded, or like, oh, the waves aren't good, or the riptide, or this, I don't know, they're close, whatever. If you aren't seeing where the lesson is to you, what you can do, what you can control, you'll miss it. But being receptive to it, the way I explained, now that you see these things happen, now you see your struggles, you'll recognize them as lessons and homework. The second piece, which is the most important, is knowing what the homework is. So like, let's say you have complete exhaustion. What do? Do you go for a jog? I don't think that will work very well. Paddle training, breath training, 100% of a chance that will work very well. So if you start needing to improve your duck dive and your pop-up, what do you do about that? So that's exactly what I mean when I say this exact model, this philosophy has shaped exactly what we do. And that's why we've been able to help so many surfers all over the world, because it's not theories. It's not like we filled the holes that we know are there for every single surfer, because every single surfer goes through the same thing. And like I said, the lessons you struggle with will repeat themselves. So those lessons that repeated themselves for me, for the people that I've trained, that's what the holes we filled. We spend our most energy on those things. So that's why all of our training isn't a theory. It's a repeatable thing we can plug anyone into, and it works because the ocean gives the same lessons to everyone. They're just a little bit varied, and the timing of them, the length that you stay at each lesson varies. So the important part is knowing the homework. So what you can do is you can figure it out on your own. That's definitely an option. That's what I did. But it took me 10 years to refine it with feedback from other surfers, breaking new programs, testing things, and all that stuff. And it wasn't available, this kind of training, so I had to do it. I did because the pain of losing surfing was too much that I just did it. I just had the ambition and the enthusiasm too. But if you want to skip the line, if you don't want to take the 10 years and you want the homework, the answers to homework, the back of the book, all the stuff you need to do, the best training to fill all the holes right away, that's the fastest path anyone has ever had available to them to progress as a surfer. Because if you think about it, you get that lesson today, you know the answer to the homework that same day, you do something about it. The next session, you get the next lesson. So instead of your lessons repeating themselves, instead of the lesson being, why am I getting exhausted every time? The lesson will start to become, okay, where do I sit in the lineup? Okay, now I gotta take off a little bit deeper. Okay, my bottom turn, how do I gain speed off the bottom? All those things start to become way more fun, and the progression starts happening every single session. But again, two things, gotta be receptive to the lessons, you gotta know what to do about the homework. So that's exactly what we do. So you're watching till the end. I know that you're interested. We make a training that covers everything. Every lesson that you are going to receive from the ocean, we have an answer to. We have a process, a method that can fill that hole between surf sessions, so you're having exactly what I'm talking about. Because I want to get you from that frustration stage to the progression stage to the download stage, where you're like receiving, you're an antenna, you're catching tons of waves, and you're upgrading your spirit, you're upgrading your personal life, you're upgrading your confidence, your self-esteem, and all that stuff through surfing. That only happens if your antenna is set by taking care of all those things. Get rid of the static, get rid of the tunnel vision, get rid of the exhaustion. Surfing changes forever. Cool thing about these things is they'll never be outdated. You'll never outgrow them. You learn these lessons and you continue to apply them, you'll never have to go backwards. Your surfing will always go forwards. And that's what I want for you. So if you're interested in this kind of training, you want to accelerate your progress, you want to shorten the learning curve by years, you want to get to your best surfing in a guaranteed path, I made a free training for you down below. It's called 3 Steps to Thousands of Waves. The only things you need that plug these holes in order to get you there. And if you're interested in the training, you can apply to be in our program. I want you to take all the risk away. Because this training is so reliable, like I told you, the process, the ocean, the lessons were given to us, and we just did something about those lessons, created the answers to the homework. Because we did it in that way, the process is so reliable. It's insane how consistent people, they send me messages every single day about how well this training worked. Because it's that reliable, we're now offering a complete risk reversal. If after the first 30 days of our training, you do not double the amount of waves that you catch, you can keep the training for free, including the paddle bands that we'll be sending to you. So go down there, watch that video, learn about our program, see exactly how you can apply to be part of our program. And if you choose to do so, 1000% risk-free. I will take all the risk in it, and I guarantee you double your wave count in 30 days, or it's free. But that never happens. So if you have a passion for the ocean and access to the ocean, you have everything you need to be super successful as a surfer and as a person. And those things combined make life absolutely fantastic. And I want that for you. All you gotta do, click that link below, watch that video. I'll talk to you soon.